Now, you took over as minister at a difficult time in education. You had come last, Peru had come last in a famous international test, I think, of 65 countries. Can you tell us how you decided to respond to that? There are different ways of dealing with that. We've seen this in South Africa. How did you deal with coming last?
Yeah, that was an unexpected surprise. Again, those are political moments that you don't choose; they just happen. But it happened that about 2 months after I took over the ministerial position, the 2000 that was late 2013. So the 2012 PISA results came out, right? It takes about a year for PISA to process all the data. So the data was out about 2 months after, and we knew a couple of weeks in advance, which is the usual, right? I mean, they share with the country teams the results in order to check that everything is fine from a technical perspective. So we knew a few days earlier, right? That was the result, and actually Peru had improved in terms of the scores, right? In the three subjects in science, in reading and learn, in reading and math, Peru had improved. But unfortunately, with a combination of other countries that have improved faster or other countries that have left PISA, that had done bad, and they say, well, I prefer not to take this assessment. Because of that combination of things, Peru was last, right? And literally last, not next to last, not bottom 10%, no, last, right? So there were two options. One was to say, well, which has happened in other countries. One was to say, well, but no, this is an OECD assessment that is not attuned to the realities of Peru, right? This not for us. But we didn't choose that route. We chose the route of saying, look, we need to own these results. We first of all, in terms of announcement, we agreed with the main newspaper of the country to say, well, we'll go with you at 6 a.m., which is, given the time difference between Peru and Paris, it was noon in Paris when their results are going to be announced. So it was that 6 a.m. in Peru. So you can go in your newspaper, in your daily, and say Peru is last in the world. And actually, it was in the front page, large headline, main newspaper of the country. So education was in the news, which usually never happens, unfortunately, never happens. Now, it was not great news. So we said, look, this is a disaster. This is a very bad result for the country. And this basically shows that we're not in trouble, that we are in deep trouble, right? Peru is a country that has grown during the last 15 years, but unfortunately, that growth has not translated into important improvements in education. We could have said, but Peru has improved, right? Say, well, but that's a detail. Nobody will care about that. The news were Peru is last. And actually, in radios, the people were saying Peru is last of the world, which was not true neither, right? Because it's 60-something countries, usually mostly OECD countries and middle-income countries. But they were saying Peru is last of the world, even doing worse than the low-income countries. So we didn't spend too much time in terms of clarifying, but it's saying, look, okay, so we're in trouble. We need to move forward. And I think that was useful in order to create momentum, right? In order to push on the teachers reform and to push also on the more resources for education. So that was the strategy, right? To use those bad results to recognize them, say, we're in deep trouble. We need to do something, right? That was the strategy.